It's Tuesday night and cheese night. Let's get started. Let's get this banner out of the way. Go away. Show me the beautiful cheese face of Charlie T. Good evening, everybody. My name's Charlie Turnbull. Tonight we are talking with the Academy of Cheese because it's Tuesday, because it's lockdown. We're on the TV. And what have we got to show today? Well, we actually have started something new. Today, we are beginning the Tour de Fromage de France. And I've got someone who will say that a lot better than me. I will try the French accent. She's got a real one. So, Noémie, are you ready to join in? Are you there? This is Noémie Richard.
Hi, everyone. I love your accents. I love your accents.
Yeah, it is superb. And I have to say, I do love your beret.
Yeah, I want it to be a French cliche for this Tour de France de Fromage. I just missed my, my baguette bread, and perhaps we would like Edith Piaf sound in the background, but at least there's an event.
I will just get my endless assistants to go and find us some Edith Piaf, and we'll be there in a second.
Yeah,
if we can...
and we've got the cheese.
Yeah, we've got the cheese. So we've got the cheese. So, Noémie, you are an expert of French cheese, but you've been around the world a bit. You spent some time in South America.
Yeah, actually, I had great opportunities with cheese, and I started actually in Chile making cheese in small goat factories. And then again, coincidence of life brought me to build a school of cheese for Chile and after South America. And I really had a great time over there, because Chile also have great wines, and you know what we say about cheese and wine.
We had Brickstock on a couple of weeks ago who went in search of llama cheese. Did you ever make llama cheese?
Llama cheese? What do you mean?
Cheese made with real llamas. I mean, llama milk, obviously, but...
Yeah. So in South America, perhaps in the north, but it will be very, very small production, and because the llama would not be able to give more than a liter a day. So it's starting, but it's really small.
Yeah, no, I've heard that you can get milk from a llama, that it's very good for making cheese, but you can't get much of it. But anyway, enough South America chat, enough South America. So you started the École de Fromage over there.
Exactly.
In Europe, doing it again. Trying to teach the Europeans about cheese. I mean, that really is sucking eggs for grandmothers, isn't it?
Yeah, there's still things to do, and actually it was a great experience over there, because we really used to work closely with the chef, with the sommelier, and there's still many things to do, to bring the producer together with the user of the cheese. And this is what I'm now in a mission to do for Savencia with the École du Fromage, and together with the Academy of Cheese, which is again another amazing initiative to bring cheese education.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I mean, that's how we met. We're fellow cheese teachers. Cheese teacher. We are those
training partners.
Yeah, man, absolutely love it. So now let's get started. We've chatted. We're looking to do these every 2 or 3 months, and you decided that you wanted to go with the Massive Central as the kickoff point. So I believe you sent me an image. So bear with me, all you techno people. We're going to try and bring on an image of the Massive Central. Here we go.
Yeah, okay. It would be good to localize it. And here we are. The Massive Central, as you can see, it's the highland region in the mid-southern France. It's 15% of the French territory, and it's not by coincidence that we're starting with this, because Tour de France, Tour du Fromage, it's all a cycling concept, and one of the main Tour de France of cycling is in the Puy-de-Dôme, which is one of the main volcanoes in this region. So we're going to talk about what's this region. It's a geographic region that gathers different and similar characteristics, but it's also the composition of three administrative regions: the Auvergne, the Occitane, and the Limousin. And our different cheeses will come from these regions. But what we can say really about the area, it's first the most volcanic area in France. There's no more eruption activity, but there is a strong minerality character of the soils, and this will mean a lot as well for our cows, for our use in this region. So yeah, the volcanic activity, the volcanic presence is quite relevant, and we can find as well. I brought for you an example of the crystals here. I don't know if you can see it properly. Amethyst.
Oh, we like the look of that.
Yeah, this is the amethyst. This is one of the crystals that's available now on the ground in the Massif Central, and this is the outcome of the lava from the volcanoes. Now, because of the erosion, we can access to these incredible treasures, and this also tells us about the quartz, about the quality of the soils. If we go around the volcanoes, they are surrounded of rivers, canyon, of cascades, and there's huge fertile valleys around these. And these fertile valleys, mainly in the north of the Massif Central, will be where the cows are raised. So the Montbéliard is one of the main cows in this region, and the cow will be grazing part of the year and really well adapted to this valley. And a very specific.
Let me stop you there. Okay. So to sum up, we've got this bloody great hill in the middle of France with the Rhone on the one side and the Atlantic on the other. I mean, is that what we're saying?
That's it.
Okay, cool. Now, basically, it's good grazing pasture. I mean, I've heard that your Montbéliard cows are like the poshest cows in France. I mean, are they the top notch?
The Montbéliard, they're very good one. They're the second biggest producers, and they are very good for proteins. There is, for those who know about protein qualities, there is the beta kappa casein, which is a great element for cheese making. And they are very good producers of it.
Okay. So I'm just going to get rid of this because we've got a little bit of feedback and we don't want that to happen. So we nice cheeses. So can you name some cheeses coming out of the Massif Central? I mean, I know one of these is going to be my favorite. So
sure. Actually, the Massif Central is the first region for PDO. So the biggest PDO production comes from the Massif Central, and mainly the Auvergne, so the northern part of the Massif Central. We've got blue cheese. You know, in France, each region is really an ambassador of different cheese families, and the blue cheese really take its ADN in the center of France. But we've got also very big classic like the Cantal, similar in somehow to the British cheddar. Yeah. We've got the Salers, which is made with another cow breed, which is the Saler breed. There's also the Saint-Nectaire, a washed moldy cheese. And we've got two big blue cheese, the Fond d'Ambert and the Bleu d'Auvergne. We're going to talk about the Bleu d'Auvergne and the Fond d'Ambert. This is the Auvergne. Another big one and huge here in the UK is the Saint-Agur, which
that's this one.
Okay, so this one is the last but not least, the Roquefort, which comes from the very south. It comes from the Occitane region, and it's made with use milk. So I think we're gonna have it very soon. But we wanna pair it. We're gonna talk about it with some balance, aromatic balance, because it's very intense.
I'm a little bit away. So let's talk about Santagur first. Yeah, and this one's available in almost all the supermarkets.
And you see, yeah, it's the classic Santagur. Okay, here you go. And it's actually a cheese that's been produced for more than 50 years. And it comes from one single creamery in Beauzac, so really part of the Massif Central. It's Montbéliard cow milk. It's got many secrets, this cheese, and I couldn't even find out all the secrets. But one of the main points to get these unique flavors is the washing of the rind with the salt. This cheese is really washed and salted, and this will allow the heart of the cheese to be very creamy. We're gonna talk about
it. I'm sure there are people out there wanting to get into their cheeses. Is anybody out there that can hear it? That can hear us having the Santagur tonight? So one of the classic things about this cheese, as you're saying, is it is incredibly smooth.
Yes,
all these cheeses have what you might think of a similar cavern type of cheese mold. So this is contrasting what you might with what the British, the Stilton style, which has a spider's web cheese mold.
Exactly.
These are soft. Come on, focus, my friend.
Exactly. Well done. Well done. And as you see, and we see, there's a difference with the other one we're going to try. The mold here is very blue green. It's a very fresh color. And there's a difference with the next one, with the Roquefort. So and you can see big caverns, as you show, big caverns, big holes with what we call the velvet texture. So literally, the mold will give this velvety texture that you can also find in the
you can taste it as a flavor. You can feel it in your mouth. They're like little bits of, well, mold, but cloth almost. But it breaks up very easily. So this is a cheese that very much puts cream at the heart of its flavor profile. That's what it's got a very clean, traditional milky flavor, but creamy. So you're telling me it's washed rind? I didn't know that.
It's salted washed rind. So it's just by with the hand. We're gonna make a crystallization of the rind, and this will allow the mold to develop inside the cheese, and being really protected with the firm rind during the maturation. And it's really a cheese that it's a balance between intensity, it's the power of the cavy notes, but with the sweetness and the creaminess of the paste. And I really recommend that cheese with light white wine, but we want some fruitiness in the wines for this.
Okay. Have you brought anything along tonight to do a bit of pairing with?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I did better than that. I prepared just to say that if I can do it, anyone can do it. It's a little soufflé that you can do very easily with.
Say it for our people. That word. Say that word again.
Soufflé.
Oh, that was nice. I like that very much.
How would you say that?
Well, we would say a souffle, but it doesn't quite sound the same if you're not wearing a beret. Let's put it that way.
There's a slight difference.
There is a slight difference.
The classic souffle, it's got Santagur in it. It's very easy to do. Eggs, wheat, milk, butter. Got your souffle, and if you have fig. This is a fig chutney with it. It goes very well. And if you want a dairy to definitely enjoy it, I really recommend a Chardonnay from the New World. This Chardonnay will have these lactic notes that we will find in the cheese as well, and they've got as well the maturity of the fruits. It's really tropical fruit and mature fruit character, and we want that for the cheese. We don't want, in my view, a red wine. We want something sweet and that balance.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, I've got there's a question here from Claire Jackson about what makes the holes in the blue mold. I want to come back to that because that's a really interesting question. I'm just going to put up what I've brought up tonight, which is the flock, which is that sort of I mean, it's basically a heavy alcohol, an alcohol. What's the word I'm looking for? Grape juice and where they take. Completely lost it. It's boozy wine, but it comes across as quite sweet and full of grape flavors, which I brought back from holiday, as you do. I'm sure everyone out there knows that experience. And it actually tastes really nice. It's got a kind of a pungent, very light brandy note, but in a kind of apricot elderflower kind of experience, which is working very well for me. Right. Let's go that. Now, the next question we've got here is what makes the holes in the blue mold? She doesn't mean the holes in the blue mold. She means the holes which become blue. Now, I'm gonna go for this, and then you can tell me I'm wrong. The answer is the holes are basically already there, aren't they? So the curd is only loosely packed together, giving space for these holes to become coated in blue mold. Am I right about that?
You're right, and I just want to mention that this is one of the main aspects of the cheese making of blue cheese. Is you want to stir very slowly and during a long time the grains in your tank so that they don't stick together and you have hair between the grains, and you'll tell more.
Yeah, very, very different to the way the Massa Centrale are putting their blue cheese together, very different to the British. But you've got lots of different interpretations. So we've started off with our Santagur, widely available, very center of the everybody's going to like this spectrum. And now we're going to pop further south and talk about Roquefort. Now, you sent me a video for this. This is challenging my technology. Oh,
yeah, well, once you put the video, I'm just going to explain as well that for the mold to develop, we're going to needle the cheese. This is another point we want to add to the process. We're going to needle the cheese, so literally making this this airflow being able to go through the cheese, and this is what allows the mold to develop. Because as you said, the mold is already inside the milk. We added at the very beginning, and thanks to the air we're going to give to the cheese, it's going to be developing and giving this great veins in the cheese.
Okay. Let's get a little bit of. Let's get.
Are we going there, Charlie? Are we going there?
Okay, you're showing me your papillon. Brilliant. All I've got to do now is somehow make this video appear, which was totally able to do it in the warm-up. This is interesting. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. Share that and press that. And here we go. Are you watching, Naomi? I
am. I'm focused. I'm focused.
You're focused. Good. So we're going to put this on the screen.
Yeah.
Hope. Are you seeing lots of? Oh, that's a bit of cheap branding going on there. Let's go. Let's. Oh.
I can just tell in the meantime that I went to Roquefort. So Roquefort is actually the south of the Massif Central, and it's really different from the north of the Massif Central, and it's actually much more dry, much drier. The landscape are a bit more moony, more hostile. So
it's roughly the same as Toulouse. Would that be fair enough?
Yeah, it's very close to Toulouse. It's one of the main metropole close to the Roquefort city. And yeah, so it's much more for you you breed raising, because cow wouldn't behave very well in this drier environment. And one of the main and the best definition of what Roquefort is was given to me by the cheesemaker of the Papillon Creamery a few years ago when I visited them. And it's really the Roquefort is the alchemy between the knowledge of man and hostile territory where nothing was possible. And what we're going to see with this video, we are just in front of the alchemy, the harmony between man and terroir.
Okay, so while I'm getting the video ready, can you just talk about the fact that we've got these Cambalou caves, these Cambalou hills, and the Florines that are coming down, and I'll see if I can make this thing.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll make it. And actually, Florine is the key element to understand. So millions of years ago, there was volcanic activity. We said it's a volcanic region, and it created the rock to slip and to get fissures. And these fissures are still here today, and they are allowing the air to circulate into all over the mountain. This is a mountain called Cambalou, and man have dug cave in the ground, and the air is going all the way through the florines, through the fissures in the stone towards the cave. And so what are we watching here is the Cambalou Coast. A coast is a plateau, and as you can see, I think this is a good one that show that in these fissures that we call florine, we've got air circulation. And this is a very natural climatization, conditioning air, or air conditioning, where naturally we're going to have a ventilation inside the cave that men dug, and allow the maturation of the cheese. The air that goes through the florine will charge itself of humidity, of moisture, and this moisture will give in the cave 95%, and these 95% are just the perfect condition for the molds to develop, together with the temperature between 8 and 12 degrees. It doesn't move much more than that. And to give you an idea, in Roquefort City, in the village that we watch here, the temperature in the winter can drop minus 16 degrees, and in the summer we go towards 40 degrees. And in the cave, all year round, the temperature is still 8 to 12 degrees. And this is just what nature can do, and men and the people in this region have really known how to observe that and make it harmony with the cheese making.
I mean, I know a little bit about this, not as much as you do, but I understand that Roquefort has been around for 500 plus years, and Charles VI of France, or something like that, said to some guy who was trying to flog him some cheap Roquefort, this is not good enough. Only the people can Roquefort make proper Roquefort. And in fact, effectively created the first PDO 500 years ago. I mean, is that true?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's even more than the first PDO cheese. It's the first PDO food. It's the first PDO food that was created. Actually, the PDO was official in 1925. This is the first time where this appeared.
So let's have a look at this PDO cheese. This granddaddy of French cheese. I mean, So I'm putting that up there. Can we get a bit of right? So the first thing to notice about this cheese is this is much wetter than the Santagur, or in fact, we're about to find the Bluddergun. Why is it so wet?
Yeah, because we're gonna keep more moisture inside the cheese. Because as you see as well, I think it was better when you were showing, Charlie. But the caverns, the holes are much bigger. There's much more mold development in this cheese, and the moisture inside this cheese will allow more development. Will allow the growth of the mold. So that's why when we open the cheese, we're going to get a bit more of this whey that's released now we open the cheese. So it's normal, and we also want to find big caverns and the strains of the penicillium malt. Okay, because the name of this is the Penicillium roqueforti. It's actually the name.
It's not uniquely in Roquefort. I mean, you have unique strains, but Penicillium roqueforti is a global mold. It's found all over the world, isn't it?
Exactly. This is what I was going to say. This is a specific strains within the roqueforti space.
Yeah. I've heard your cheese maesteros talk to me about how you have specific strains, and of course, I believed every word. I believed every word. So the other thing about this cheese that people will be wanting to know is this is thought to be one of the saltiest cheeses in the spectrum, isn't it?
Yeah. It's actually another myth we're going to destroy.
Oh, I love destroying this. Come on, let's get on with that. Next thing you say Brexit was a bad idea.
You know, we say French people wear beret. It's completely a myth. Another one, no, a real myth. It doesn't have more. It doesn't have more salt. It's really so. Here, what we didn't say, we are in presence of sheep milk. So it's different milk properties, and the milk, the curd will absorb much more salt, but in relation we don't have that much more salt. But the salt again will be necessary to make and protect the rind of this cheese. But it's really the level of absorption and the level of perception of salt. And so this cheese you don't have to get out of your fridge more than 10-15 minutes because it's going strong really quickly because it's intense. We've got, sheep milk will give more fat to the mold, and it will allow more quicker development. So yeah, it's really strong and intense.
So I think it's time to move on to Santagur, available just about everybody who's listening, very widely spread, nice, easy eating, clean cream center. Roquefort, punchier, smaller number of people who love it, but the people who love it really love it. It's got a huge. Some people have called it the foie gras of cheese. You push it against your top palate with your tongue, and it gives a little bit of resistance, but then it breaks open, and the flavors just come through, and it's a very powerful, subtle, but it's not to everyone's taste. It's just that the people who love it, like me, just think it's the best cheese in the world. Now we're going to move on to a cheese that's the Bleu d'Auvergne. So we're going back north. Oh, you want some Montbazillac? Of course you do.
Yeah, I want some Montbazillac for the Roquefort. We want to balance this undergrowth forest notes, intense saltiness. We want to balance it with sweet and again very fruity, tropical fruit character wine. And why not, if you can, very easy and simple to do a crepe, French crepe.
No. Stopping you. We're going to do that after the Auvergne, okay?
Okay.
But I do want to touch on that. That is one of the best tips you will get today. Montbazillac is as good as Sauterne, but half the price. So all those people out there are thinking they want a Sauterne, they want to bring the price down. Montbazillac, that's your answer. Okay. So last one up, I want to talk about the Bleu d'Auvergne because this is it's a very mainstream cheese in France, isn't it, Noemi? But it's rarely seen here.
Yeah, we don't see it that much. Pretty much at Christmas, it's very seasonal. Unfortunately, because it's a very nice cheese. Yeah, the difference. So the Roquefort come from the very south, the Saint-Agur come from the east, and Bleu d'Auvergne come from all over the Massif Central. So it's really found in many different localizations in Massif Central. Again, it's cow Montbéliard cow milk. It's 28 days maturation, 28 days. For the Saint-Agur, we were talking about 50 days. And for the Roquefort, about 90 days. Actually, not about, at least 90 days. And the Bleu d'Auvergne is just 1 month, 30 days. So it's more, it's not a bad thing. It's more simple. It's a classic French blue style. I've got it here as well. Classic French blue style. It's you can see the mold is developed, but it's not as huge. The holes are not as huge as in the Roquefort that you've just seen. And in terms of flavor as well, it's a well balance between firmness but also creamy, and we've got some.
That's my Bleu. Can you see that? So big, distinct holes on my Roquefort, sort of more, I don't know, dribbles and cracks really on my Bleu d'Auvergne. So what I'm hearing from you is that Bleu d'Auvergne is, without being disrespectful, that's like a peasant's cheese. It's like everywhere, lots of different makers over a wide region, probably a lot of local variations, and I would imagine dozens and dozens of recipes that go with this because every household has got one.
Yeah, absolutely. Between one cheesemaker and another, you will find some subtle differences. This one is really driven by cooked milk, cooked toasted notes character. This is really interesting into this cheese, and you can find it in many Bleu d'Auvergne video.
Right. I'm going to show favoritism. I think this is my favorite tonight. And what's really interesting about this, not really interesting, lots of interesting things, but you sent me a nice big chunk. You must have sent me about sort of 600 grams, which of course I did some extensive research on it.
It was all for this.
But interestingly, it has a salty character, but more so when cold. And as it warmed up, the flavors balanced out. And it's one of those cheeses I think is quite robust and rude when cold, but interesting and complex when back at room temperature. I'm sort of developing a theory about this. All different cheeses respond differently to temperatures, as in eating temperatures. And this one was a really interesting learning for me.
Yeah, really nice. I agree. Very nice. Also, a cider, fruit cider. This is pineapple and raspberry old malt cider. I really loved it with this one and the Bleu d'Auvergne. If I may.
Okay. I've not heard that before. That's really interesting. That's really, so you're looking for a fruit infused cider with a Bleu d'Auvergne. Well,
yeah.
Love now. Yeah. This is like a fruit infused cider. It's not cider, it's grapes. Okay, Noemi, you've got a treat for us now. You are going to cook for us a crepe. Now, what could be more French than a lady with a beret cooking a crepe? So please bring it on.
Actually, we're going to test now if I am a real French one. Where should I go? Over here. Okay. So basically, I made some crepes this weekend. I've got one more for you, and okay. I've never done that in front of a camera, but it's the momentum. Okay. So now my French fellow can confirm I'm French. Okay, so very, very simple. You got a crepe recipe, you know, you can find it very easily. It's quite, you know, milk, eggs, and wheat, very easy to do. You make your crepe, and then what you want to do is just very simple. You get your roquefort, just a piece like that. Just a piece like that in the middle of your crepe, and we're gonna add, see if you can see, some pears just on one side. I pre-cutted some fresh pears on one side, and to finish, we're just going to drop a little bit of honey. This is Provençal honey on the pears. And once you've done that, you've got here your roquefort that's going to naturally melt on the crepe because of the warmness of the crepe, and we'll just shut it like that and just enjoy and delight with our nice pairing. Very simple. Everyone can do it. I could.
That looks amazing. You're going to warm that up. You're going to the cheese chilled.
Yeah. The crepe was warm. The crepe was warm, and once it's when it's warm, you just put the roquefort in it, and it's gonna melt naturally on top of your crepe.
I mean, that's amazing. No, not just because I've missed lunch.
I'm sorry. I wish I could send it to you, but I'm going to have to eat it myself.
Well, on that note, thank you so much, Noemi, for joining us and telling us about the Massa Centrale and the blue cheeses we've given a real focus of today. Let's see if we can bring me back in. Here we go. Carl, yes, back in the middle of the screen. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Now, we have got lined up, I think it's quite a long way off. I think it's like August or something, but we're going to come back, and everyone, we're going to talk about the Pyrenees and the Basque Country.
Wow, yeah, looking forward to it. We're going to go to the southwest of France. I've got many other delights for you from this region. One of the best cheese of the world are from here as well. So,
also, I saw Carol Hopkins up on the notes there. She knows my all-time favorite cheese probably is one of the Osserratis. Awesome cheese. So I'm going to say thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us. And
thank you, Charlie.
Looking forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you very much. See you. Bye-bye.
Well, that was Noemi. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. I hope you enjoyed our first program in Les Tours de, I'm going to get this wrong, Les Tours de Fromage de France, because let's be honest, if the French didn't invent it, they pretend they did. They have got some of the greatest, most interesting cheeses in the world, and they have done a very good job of preserving the heritage that we've had to rediscover in the UK. And although we've done a good job of it, it's great to see those cheeses being flourishing, still full of cuisine, still full of terroir, still full of community. So come see us in August for that. But that doesn't mean we're not plowing on with interesting stuff. And next week we have Dhruv Baker. Now, Dhruv is a very good friend of mine. He did some great MasterChef stuff some time ago, which he tries not to talk about because he's moved on. He's now got an awesome company called Tempus, which does fantastic charcuterie. So they're going to be matching charcuterie and cheese, which is one of the great pleasures of our time. But to spice up, we're talking brandy and cheese, brandy and charcuterie. Come and see us next week. It will be boisterous. So all the best. Thank you very much for living. It's Tuesday night, it's cheese night, and I am now going to use the magic of technology to sign out and say good night from me. Bye-bye.